You're listening to Bookmark My Words. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Sarah.
This is our Summerween special. Yes, we have witches hats on. Yes, they looked better on Amazon.
Honestly, I'm kind of digging them.
I am too.
Except yours is cowboy style.
Mine is
you're like you're a Western witch.
I'm a hee-hee-hee-haw type person. Wait, how was your week?
It was good. I don't think anything notable happened, really, other than my children are getting big. They're starting to have a social life, and they're having sleepovers. So I, of course, am their driver. I'm the chauffeur.
You're your chauffeur now.
And now I know what middle school parents are always talking about.
Oh my, middle-aged parents.
I mean, I guess I am technically reaching middle-aged parents.
No, we're not middle-aged until we hit 50s. Yep.
But the 80s,
no. I refuse to accept those math. Just because men normally have their midlife crisis, like in their late 40s, early 50s, just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're allowed to be middle-aged in our 50s.
50s? Okay,
late 50s.
I've got a little while. Okay. How was your week? That was pretty much my week. I didn't really, other than work.
Yeah, because your kids are out of school now, so
kids are out of school, soccer's done. We're rolling into soccer camp this week, but things have kind of slowed down other than their social life.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Most school buildings don't have air conditioners in all the rooms. There's no summer school for kiddos, so it's hot.
Is your school not doing summer school this year?
No.
Oh.
So it's just us custodians there, which is fun, always fun, because then we get to be loud and obnoxious as much as we want without insulting anyone, or them coming out and being like, I can't focus in here. Well, I mean,
we're just trying to survive.
We're just trying to survive, and if we can't laugh through this, we're not going to make it. And of course, nothing's working out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. But we've only got just 2 more weeks. We've got this week coming up next week, and then I'm on summer break. Thank God.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I don't know when we're supposed to go back. But then hopefully I won't be there very long as a custodian because I'll be starting student teaching somewhere. I don't know where. Hopefully this gets to be on YouTube. I think I've figured out how to...
Maybe we'll go viral for our crazy hats.
They'll be like, and now they're wearing hats. No idea why. It's June.
Yes,
June. It is.
And we're in denial that it's June.
It's so hot.
And it's not even really got hot here.
No.
We have honestly had a pretty mild temperatures lately.
I know, don't talk about it. You make it angry.
I know. It's going to be angry this week. It's coming.
Can't do it.
I don't want to talk about it.
My white self can't do hot weather.
I was meant to be in, Greenland.
Yeah. I could go there. We wear sweaters all the time. Heck, I'll even do England when they're like, it's 60 degrees, it's hot. Once you transfer it over from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and you're like, dude, it's 55. Calm down.
You need to calm down.
Anyway.
Sorry.
So,
don't come for me, T Swift.
Sarah didn't finish her book.
Big surprise.
Shocker. No, it's okay. I also had a backup one in case you don't ever finish it.
Always. She knows me.
I was just like, these are the other books, just in case. I was like, I have a book if you don't want it.
Is that what this book was? Is this a backup book?
No, this one actually was planned.
Okay.
But the books are 30 Days of Night, Stephen King's Dreamcatcher, and my mind just...
How big is that one?
Dreamcatcher? Gosh, I can't remember because I read both this one and Dreamcatcher in 7th grade, right when they were like, hey, you like spooky stuff, read this.
I am looking up Dreamcatcher. Well, no, I'm supposed to be reading my book. Never mind.
I mean, it's several thousand pages. It's very large.
1,000?
It's like 1,000, maybe 800.
Why does it not come up for Stephen King? There's a million Dreamcatchers out here, but...
Did you type in book? Because it's a movie, too.
No, I'm on Goodreads.
Okay.
Stephen King not on Goodreads?
Sorry. The Watchers. That's the 3rd book. And then my backup book, if you never finish one, is Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire.
He's not.
He's not on
Dreamcatcher. They've got him as author unknown King Stephen.
What about on Fable?
I don't know. Now I need to dig into this.
Hold on. Pause.
Like, how can you not have the Stephen King? Where do you, Fable kind of confuses me sometimes. I like them, but it's confusing.
Yeah, there it is.
On Fable?
Yeah.
Dreamweaver. Oh, Catcher, not Weaver. Why? Where is he?
Girl. Like,
Dream? Oh, it's one word.
oh, you didn't know that?
No. Dude, there they are.
Okay, so I was exaggerating a little bit. It's 688 pages.
This is 624.
Which one are you looking at?
So one that was released in 2001. Yep, no, that one won't be the one I'm reading with you.
I wonder why they're different. Because the one right underneath it's also.
Maybe he released. Does he do like extras, like some authors do?
Maybe. In the back of this one, he also has Bag of Bones. Okay, that explains a lot. Because that's about 200 pages in itself. It's a short book.
Oh, that's his short story, huh? Short story of 200 pages, Steven?
Yeah,
I bet you got in trouble in school, Steven.
probably. But anyway, today's book is 30 Days of Night. I just punched my hat. I can't
Yeehaw!
do this. This one is 30 Days of Night. I can't figure out who the actual author is. Because this was actually a screenplay first.
Oh.
So, and then it went movie, then book. So, and they're all kind of vary from each other. Like what is like some of the characters' jobs and some of the relationships between some people. So, in this one, I'll kind of be like, this is different, apparently. But it says this author is Tim Lebanon. So, 30 Days of a Night by Tim Lebanon. And the synopsis is in a sleepy and secluded town of Barrow, Alaska, the northwestmost settlement of North America, its citizens are preparing for the annual coming of the dark, when the sun will set for more than 30 consecutive days and nights. But this year, the dark will bring something else. From across a frozen wasteland, a horrifying evil descends upon Barrow, mercilessly besieging its residents with unrelenting terror and swift death. As such, the darkness continues, and its 30 days of night seemingly have no end in sight. Barrow's only remaining hope lie within the sheriff, Eben Olson, and deputy Stella Olson, a husband and wife who are torn between saving the town they love and their own survival. The movie's pretty good. I mean, definitely not something for littles, which is so funny because I like read it 7th grade. And then I was like, oh, I gotta watch the movie. And then I watched the movie and I had nightmares.
So, like, even that, like, you consider that a little for this, or no?
What do you mean?
So, like, you said you were 7th grade. Like, are you saying
Oh,
that's too
okay.
young?
Well, no, you could probably read it in like 5th or 6th grade, honestly.
Hmm.
But don't let them watch the movie. It's gonna give them
the movie, because it's like
because we're not talking about
visual.
sparkly Twilight vampires. I mean, these things, they don't have two fangs. Like they have a ton of fangs.
It's like the ones that like.
Yeah, they're
out.
like scary, real horrific looking vampires. They're not nice.
Where did you watch all these things in 7th grade? In like your room?
Yeah. TNT, bro.
You were always back there doing stuff, and now I know.
Yeah, watching scary movies I wasn't allowed to watch.
Parents, check on the quiet one. Just saying.
Like you were so innocent going out with friends. I had to take notes. So please excuse my page flipping if you hear it. So Barrow, Alaska is the most northern part of the United States. Obviously, because it's in Alaska, but then it's like the last settlement before you get to like the ocean. It goes into a month of just pure darkness, which I've heard of Alaska, you know, a lot of places.
Yeah.
Just pure nighttime. Just like in the summer, it does pure daylight.
I couldn't.
I can't. That would kind of freak me out. And also, it disrupts a lot of things you wouldn't think about. Like, it comes, obviously, 30 Days of Night comes, obviously, in the winter. So, you gotta think about things like there's no way of getting supplies up there, gas for their generators, power supplies. Sometimes the airplanes can't get in and out. So the sheriff's going around. His name's Eben. Sorry. He's kind of going around trying to fix all these things before he goes into complete darkness. The town is super small. 563 people living in this town. And only about 100 stay around. And the rest of them kind of move down south toward Anchorage, or even as going just flying into.
During the darkness?
Yeah, they just go ahead because they're like, it's too complicated. It'd be better just to.
For just 30 days.
Just for 30 days, just relocate someplace else. Makes sense. That's probably what I'd do.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'd be sitting there going, I should have freaking moved. I just wanted to save money, but no. I had to freaking die because of vampires.
That's what would happen to me.
Yeah, try to save money and then die. I'd be like, this is what I get for being a cheap. I'm gonna die now. Because not many people make it out. I think it's equivalent of, out of like 100 people that stay, only like 6 people live. Yeah. Like, they destroy everybody. Like I said, they're not nice vampires.
Well, do they only come out during these 30 days?
That's what they're thinking.
So they're very hungry.
So yeah, they kind of move in with the darkness. But before they move in, a stranger appears. And you literally know, like, nothing about this stranger. He's like the very first character you meet. He's going in and he's so excited that he's wandered up on Barrow. He's like, this is a perfect town to just like go in and just destroy all the communications, any form of travel, any form of light. Like, he's pretty much going ahead of all the vampires and destroying anything that could like hinder them from hunting. Which is like the creepiest thing, because it's like he's not a vampire, but he's like helping them. Kind of like a minion, I guess.
Okay.
Very creepy dude.
Is that to like
I know.
like secure your safety?
I guess so. Or maybe like one to be turned into one of those.
Ugh.
Ew. I wouldn't. Not those kind.
Yeah, no, those ones.
No,
it
thank
doesn't
you.
sound like they're fun.
Yeah, so you go through, and then you meet Eben and his deputy. He's one of his deputies, Billy. And they're going through and they're like, oh my gosh, who stole all the cell phones in town and burned them in a huge pile? Who cut the cord on the telephone poles? Why are some of these vehicles leaking oil? Like, what's going on? Who stabbed all the sled dogs?
So they're like, what?
Yeah,
like
they
sabotaging
like
stuff.
sabotaging. And so this obviously the sheriff's got to figure things out. While this is going on,
Well, yeah, I guess they can't leave.
yeah, like they cut off from everything. So, and then of course, like they said, you can't just go start walking around in Alaska, and it's hundreds of miles to the next town, and it's in the dark.
No.
You'll freeze to death. You'll die. You meet his separated wife. They're not divorced. They're just having some marital issues. She stops in to do her job where she's working for like the fire protective services of Alaska, and she comes in and she's just like, I just need to get my job done, get this paper signed, and go back to Anchorage before the planes leave for the very last time for 30 whole days, because I cannot stay here with my husband who refuses to talk about relationships with. So she's her name's Stella. She is like in a huge hurry, and of course, like all great books, she doesn't get back to the plane.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't happen. I really like her. She's very.
What's her name? Stella?
Stella.
Okay.
Yeah. She's very level-headed. I know we don't know many Stellas who are level-headed.
Yeah.
But I really like her character. I like Evans, but I don't know. He kind of goes back and forth. Kind of like your man, like military dude, like doesn't talk about feelings.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, he's like, what's your problem?
Right.
Okay. Anyway. So, darkness approaches, and it's getting closer and closer. They catch the stranger, and they lock him up. Dude's sitting in his cell just being super effing creepy the whole time he's there. He even freaks out Eben's little brother, Jake, who's like 15 years old. He hangs out in the police station, and he's like, man, something's not right with that guy. He's like, there's something really weird. And even their grandmother, she like runs the switchboards for the for the cops because there's only like 4.
Wow.
Yeah, which I thought kind of sounded like a lot.
No.
I guess maybe on shifts. I guess you have to have 2.
Yeah, I mean, to think 2 people patrolling 500. That's kind of.
That's kind of fair. I don't know why. Like when I read it, kind of go, that kind of sounds like a lot of cops for a small town. And then you're like, well, this isn't Mayberry. We
Yeah.
are in Alaska. You meet some of the townspeople. You kind of go through with them and their steps on how they prepare for like the darkness and whether they stay or they go.
Yeah, 'cause I guess, like, if you have animals or anything, you gotta take them with you.
Yeah, some stay literally just for like because of their jobs. I always kind of think of it now because when I was skimming through it to kind of like remind myself what was in the book. Because like I said, I read it in 7th grade. I was like, it's been 20 years.
It's like your essential people have to stay
Yeah,
behind.
it's like your central people have to say, just kind of like in COVID, where it was like, okay, the
Or like a
sheriff.
hurricane evacuation.
Yeah, like, the sheriffs, the communications, what was the one guy? There was one guy who ran a grocery store type deal. He stayed behind. Cause think about it, they just normally just mill about like they normally would. Their jobs just might be a little affected, but it's not. You go down to like only 1% of the population. Like
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot more chill.
schools are shut down, from what I understood. So mostly everybody leaves town, but those people kind of like the essential ones kind of just stay and keep the town going until everybody comes back or until January.
So is this going on during Christmas?
I guess so. It doesn't really say like months. I just know that like in July is when, or like the summer solstice is when they go through the daylight period. Just
That
from
makes
like
sense.
school, I just know I'm just
Yeah.
weird and just know that fact. I'm a freak.
I didn't say it.
I just know some of those random things. Makes for great conversation though. So it's either like in December or January when they would go through whenever the winter solstice would be, probably.
December. Is
20.
it that 20th? 21st?
Yeah, 21st. It's always
Isn't
on a
all of them
21st.
21st?
Yeah. Just like the zodiac signs are always like the 23rd
Oh,
or
I
22nd.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So you kind of like go through the book and it kind of seems like, oh, this is pretty tame. And then it just like happens. Stella and Evan are rolling through town. They had gotten a call about someone being attacked in the street, and they're rolling through town on a 4x4 because only the sheriffs have those. And they see someone in the road and they're like, what the heck is that thing? And she immediately was like, get back in the vehicle. And he's like, why? What's wrong? Typical man does not listen. And she's like, get back in the vehicle. I don't know what that is, but it's not human. And he does, shoots at it several times, does nothing, absolutely nothing, doesn't even slow him down. Hops on top of the 4x4. She's like trying to shake it off. It's not going anywhere. And finally, she was able to shake it off, and they go to the sheriff's office and they find that the communication system there, even the emergency one, has been destroyed. The stranger in the cell is dead. His brother is missing, and his grandmother's not breathing anymore.
Oh no.
So he immediately goes into straight panic because, I mean, as any good big brother would, where's my little brother? Like, grandma dead.
Grandma's dead.
Like, everybody else is dead. You do catch up with Jake. He's fine. Apparently, he got out and went to the diner where everybody was meeting up when the vampires cut off the power. So they're all hanging out in the diner, and then they see people getting attacked. And there's like a small group, it's about like 6, 7 people hanging out in the diner with the lights off, and they're kind of just watching through the windows. Everybody get attacked? I don't know. Like, because you could tell.
I mean,
You could
like, 'cause
tell.
where do you go?
Yeah, because, like, where do you go? You can't leave the diner. You can't go help those people. I mean, obviously, like, no offense to nobody. Unless you're family or a real close friend, I ain't jumping out there and fighting something that's literally tearing you limb from limb. I'm sorry.
I mean, what are you gonna be able to do?
At that point, every man for themselves, okay? It's not like zombies where they're stupid. They're pretty intelligent and they can tell that right away.
Well, yeah, and obviously shooting them doesn't work.
If shooting them doesn't work, which they don't know at that point, the sheriff does, but because they're kind of like in two separate groups.
Right.
So both Stella and Eben do eventually go to the diner, and they're like, "Oh, thank God!" But they're like, "Well, now we got to get out of here. Like, what are those things? What are they doing here? What are those things?" And they never really say like vampire unless it's the vampire's point of view. There is a vampire's point of view.
Oh.
I'm not going to talk about it because it would give like a lot away. But let's just say there's like a hierarchy in their system. They do create some of the townspeople to be vampires. There's like a power struggle in their little, I don't know.
So do they not kill all of the people? So do they turn some of them?
I think they turn some of them just because it like keeps up
Keeps their like community.
numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know how they decide that. It's been a hot second. I don't think they discuss that.
Mm.
But they are intelligent. They are very ancient, and they do have their own language.
Oh.
I remember in the movie, like, they legit sound like they're speaking some weird ancient language. It was very, like, what is that? Because it just sounded like weird gurgles.
Like creepy.
Like creepy gurgle stuff. And they are, like, so Stella and Eben gets everybody out. Apparently, underneath a lot of these structures and homes, there's, like, crawl spaces that go into other crawl spaces. And they're able to, like, get in and out of buildings that way instead of using the front door. So they're able to go and get into a house that's pretty close by. And they kind of just hide out in this attic for like 2, 3 weeks. Like pretty close towards the end. And then they're like, oh man, we run out of food, run out of this. And while they're in that attic, they see all kinds of things happening. This is how they discover like the vampires are pretty intelligent. Like sometimes they'll like attack like people in houses and then they'll let one go for them to run out into the street and draw others out and then they'll attack all of them.
Huh.
So it's kind of like I guess kind of like how wolves would like, if they were to go and attack something, and they're like, we'll let that one go and see if they run towards more
Yeah.
people. And Evan's just taking note of everything. He being, I guess, just a sheriff, he's like, takes the most shifts. He tries to protect everyone. He has like a really tough time with watching so many townspeople just be slaughtered in the streets. And he's like, I'm up here in an attic just watching all this happen. And of course, at the same time, like him and his wife are kind of starting to fall back in love with each other. It's got like a little like, oh, don't end well. But
no.
my favorite character, Jake, lives though. I'll let you guys know that.
That's the little brother, right?
That's the little brother. He does live. That's the only person I'm gonna say lives. I'm not gonna tell you
Who else?
who else lives, because I don't want to
We
give it
know
away.
Grandma's gone.
We know Grandma's gone. In their little group, even that was like 7 people, if I'm thinking right, 6, 7. It ends up being just like 3 towards the end, and then one girl who is from a different house. And they even like lose people along the way. Some people self-sacrificed, which I was kind of like, woo, because he took out many, many vampires with him.
Oh.
And he kind of did it in like a F you, and then like
Yeah.
creates a bomb and they explode. It's very cool. And he was very like, it's not the sheriff. It's not the sheriff. The dude was like an outcast in the town.
Aw.
So he was just kind of like, "You're the only nice person to me, so I'm gonna blow myself up and make sure you get out." And of course, the sheriff's like, "All right."
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
If you must.
Okay, I'm not gonna say no, because if either way, we're all gonna die. After they stay in the house that the people had flown out of town, so they didn't have a ton of food to begin with, and with there being like so many people, they're like, "We gotta move."
Yeah.
And also, Jake noticed, he's like, I think one of the vampires knows we're in here. And they were like, how can you tell? And he's like, well, he was like, every time he walks by, he looks at the window. Because they're like in the attic. It's got like a little slit. And so he's like, I think they're just waiting for us to run. So they make out a plan on where to go next. Because they're like, okay, obviously we can't go to another house. They're going through the houses one by one and clearing them out slowly as the month goes on. So they're like, we gotta figure out a place to go that either they've already looked.
I was going to say, like, they need to figure out which ones they've checked.
Yeah. And then, but also someplace that's gonna have, shelter, food, and water. Like, this would be awful, but I would do it. So apparently there's sewage system up there. I guess the pipes are pretty big.
Oh.
And they were like, hey, so and so was working on the sewage system and the pipe was closed down, right? And one of the guys, he's like a maintenance worker for the town. He's like, yeah. They're like, we could travel through there
Ugh.
and get to the sewage system plant, and it has like a industrial lockable doors and stuff. I mean, that makes pretty sense. And they're like, well, what about food and water? And he's like, well, we'll just have to, like, one or two of us is going to go into some houses and scavenge for food and water. And then we're going to have to go onto the sewage system, walk through the sewage system pipe, and get to, like, the sewage processing plant. Pretty much, generator plant.
Yeah.
I'm like this one girl, she was like, I don't want to do that. And he was, Eben's like, be thankful you're alive to smell it. I was like, I don't know if I would be.
I don't know. Like,
Cause then, like, immediately my little mind went, what about diseases?
well, that's what I was thinking. Like, then, like,
I'd be like, is it on me? Get it off.
how do you can't shower?
You can't shower. Ew. And then you get there, and like, do we need to take off some, like, a layer of our clothes because it's gonna be on us? It's gonna be
Yeah.
on us. Ew. I wouldn't like it. I think I'd be like, I'm gonna just stick it out here. And of course, the plan goes horribly, horribly wrong. They run back into Billy, whose house was destroyed, and something terrible happened to a good portion of them. I'll say that. I won't say what happened to him. It wasn't vampires.
Oh no.
But let's just say his two kids and his wife, they didn't suffer by the vampire's hands. It was awful. It was awful. The whole thing, like, was awful. So yeah, they split up. They go into, like, the processing plant. They end up getting split up, and then it's like two groups. They end up splitting into like two groups, and they end up meeting up towards the very, very end, like when it mattered. And it was like, seems like every time they try to, like, band together, they get split up by these vampires, because now they're at a point where it's like, they're outnumbering them, and
The vampires are?
yeah, the vampires are outnumbering the humans, like, even more so. And so Eben does create this plan, and I will say it does work. Some people died. It was really bad. Stella goes on to being in a second book
Oh.
screenplay. There is another book because I just saw that. I didn't know that until I was looking it up, and I was like, oh, I didn't know there was another book.
That means Stella lives.
So Stella goes on into a sequel called Dark Days. She writes a book exposing what happens in Barrow and moves to LA to hunt vampires. And that's all I can read about it because then it tells kind of like what happened in this book. But so
Moves to LA to hunt vampires.
I know. Now I want to read it. I didn't know there was more than just that one because I thought that was a pretty good book.
Yeah.
I liked the movie of it. Movie was a little, like, visually it was a little much, but I think what I really liked about the book was that it was like, I'm a sucker for a villain
Mm-hmm.
that has brains.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta have some brains there. We
Yeah.
can't just be crazy monsters with no thought. I can't do that. I feel like that's dumb.
I get that.
Yeah, so, like, these villains,
She's like plotting villain.
they're plotting, and they're also, you see them pit against each other, which I always love it when, like, there's conflict within the bad guy group, because then you can see, like, oh, that bad guy's not as bad as that bad guy.
Right.
It could be worse, and then it's, yeah. So, definitely recommend this book for people who want suspense, because the whole time they're hiding in the attic, you're just like, they found him. They found him. They found him. And then it's like, okay, calm down. And it's just like, oh no, they've been found. Oh no, this happens. Oh no, this happens. And I think I read it in like 2 days.
Wow.
So, I mean, and it's not
It
big.
definitely isn't big.
It's not big. 125 pages. It's your normal average book. It doesn't have chapters, it has days. So it starts out, I think literally the first chapter says tonight. And then it goes day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4.
Oh.
And even then it skips days. Like there's a huge gap in between day 16 to day 20. It like just goes boom, boom. Because nothing changes.
Right.
They're just pretty much there
treading water.
treading
essentially.
water, just trying to just be as quiet as possible. And it seems like every time when it's just like, just be quiet, just sit here, don't do nothing, human error happens.
Mhm.
Like there's just one incident where a guy runs out into the street to save his dad who has Alzheimer's and has
Oh,
no idea what's going on. I mean, that'd be real hard.
yeah, because you probably couldn't get him to evacuate
Yeah,
earlier to
cause
like
like,
leave for that month either.
yeah, so you don't want to see your parent tore up to pieces, but at the same time, like,
Yeah.
could you go out there and sacrifice? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, oh dang. I don't think mom or dad would want us to run out there with them, but I think it'd be really hard as like a child seeing your parent who's in a weakened state.
Yeah.
It'd be almost like your own child, and you'd run after them.
Right, because so many years they've taken care of you.
Yeah, and it'd just
And
be
now it's essentially your turn to take care of them.
it'd be just like a habit.
That would be
So,
tough.
and then there's more where, especially with like the sheriff and the deputies, they keep trying to save people, and every time it's like the more people they try to save, the worse things get, and it's like, just go do the main plan.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're not the type of people to be like, fend for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was, yeah, I think it was another one of those books that I had a friend in a middle school that was like, oh, you really like vampires? Read this. And I thought, it's the same one that gave me like a romance book.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was the same one. She was like, here, this one's spookier. There's no romance in it, really. And I was like, okay. Between Eben and Stella, there's some but not like,
Not spicy.
not spice, just kind of like emotional.
Mm.
Like, why did you leave? Where'd you go? I love you.
Like, how can you be having spice during all this?
Yeah, you can't have, there's no spice. Everybody's terrified. Pure darkness. I couldn't imagine, like, it gets pretty dark here where we're at
Yeah.
in winter. I can't imagine when you're at like the highest
Yeah.
part of the world.
And for it to never get daylight.
And then it never changed. And then they've cut out, like, in my mind when I picture it, I'd go, oh, well, there's street lights. And it's like, no, there's not. There's no street lights. They cut off the power. So,
Like, is this the first year this has ever happened?
like, what do you mean?
That the vampires come in?
Oh, okay. I was like, no, Sarah, the world's always
No.
turning. The world is always
The
turning.
vampire part.
I think it mentioned something about they
Was
had
it
heard.
like every so many years?
Yeah, well, Eben and Jake were talking about it. Jake was like, I don't know, should we get garlic and crosses? And he's like, well, obviously vampires have been around for centuries because he's like, they've got their own language.
Yeah.
And he's like, humans have to come up with legends from somewhere,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, so he's like, I don't know, maybe. But, they do figure out how to kill some of them. It's just a lot harder than what you think. So, I think it might have happened a time before because I think the guy with the Alzheimer's had talked about it and he sounded nuts,
Right.
which would make like, hey, like the crazy person in town is the
Yeah.
one with the most sense. So, I don't know. If you got a town loon that talks about vampires invading your town, maybe listen to him a little bit.
Maybe leave.
Maybe leave. Maybe don't move there. Or have a basement where you can have a steel door and lock it up.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, but then you'd be down there in the dark.
Then it'd be creepy too. Could you imagine if your neighbor had a steel door and be like, what's down there? That's just in case. Of what, sir? No, thank you.
It's where I hide the bodies.
Yeah, it's like, that's where I have to go just in case the vampires come. Oh, okay. You have a good night then. Bye-bye. They'd remain single forever. But yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. For sure.
It sounds like a good one.
How far did you get into your book?
Chapter 2.
That's funny. But what are you reading right now? Nothing?
Nothing is the problem.
That happens.
I like pick it up and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And I just set it down. Any book. I've tried multiple books.
On Kindle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's because they're physical. Never mind.
No, it's on the
Maybe you
Kindle.
should read something different.
Maybe.
Like something that just like, whoa. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa!
Well, like something different from what you normally read.
Right. Well, and on my to be read list, I've got a couple that have been recommended to me that aren't like the psychological thrillers.
No house burnings.
Yeah, no house burnings. So they're on my tops right now. I haven't started them.
I've been trying to read Dark Hope, and it's been really good so far. I'm on chapter 3, but I keep falling asleep while
That's
reading
what
it.
keeps happening to me.
And I'm like, stop. Yeah, if I don't stop with that sleep pattern, I'm gonna like, I'm gonna go psychotic. I think I'm gonna snap.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna be famous for something else. Gonna friggin' snap.
You should wear your yeehaw hat.
I'm gonna snap. What's funny is when you look at me, yours is the same way.
What are you talking about? Mine's sideways.
Yeah, but when you look at the camera, it's like,
There you go.
but I don't look at the camera.
Now we look like it kind of
What?
reminds me of like the big floppy hats like the Southern Belles wear too. Did you see that Annabelle went missing?
Yeah,
You
where'd she
sit
go?
that-
How in the world did she just get up and walk away?
Dude, have they found her?
No, she's lost.
How do you lose that?
How does she physically move?
She's done with her shit.
I mean, I would be too if I was a demon trapped in a doll. I mean, just in their defense, it's not a good thing.
Where was it at when she went missing?
Like, a part of me wants to say Colorado, but another part of me wants to say, hold on. Another part of me wants to say, DC? I can't remember. You're gonna have to look it up. Now I just look crazy.
Yeah, no, you did something weird.
We'll figure it out in a second. Nope. I know code.
Where did Annabelle?
See, it hides my face.
Oh, I don't want images. Go away.
We're gonna go back to the cowboy.
Oh no, she's back behind lock and key.
But where did she just go on a stroll?
The Monroe, Connecticut
Oh, Jesus.
owner Tony Barrow told the Post the doll was taken on a brief tour to several locations to show the doll to enthusiasts of paranormal. So did she never really like escape?
I don't understand why a doll needs to go on a tour. Why is she on a tour? How can a doll...
Annabelle, the haunted doll, isn't in Chicago, investigators say.
Where is she?
So she must have went missing in Chicago.
In Chicago? That makes sense.
Oh, wait. Did the real Annabelle doll go missing in 2025? Annabelle is not missing. She's not in Chicago, he assured fans. What does Chicago have to do? Like,
that was a part of her tour.
Why would she be missing it? So they're saying that she's...
I don't know.
However, he also mentioned to the fans they were going to be at the 2025 Rock Island Roadhouse, some sort of expo. A notice was also posted that read, "It's a rumor." Oh god, she's creepy.
A demon trapped in a Raggedy Ann doll. I swear.
It just left me hanging.
Subscribe.
Oh, it's a rumor Annabelle has not been stolen. Who would steal her?
Ew. No. I know some people out there are real freaks about that stuff, and I'm just like, ew. That's a no. Thank you. That's a big no.
Okay, so yeah, that was just a rumor. It was speculated that she was missing, but a NESPR, whatever that is, lead investigator, Dan Riviera, refuted the rumors, posting a video in which he walks... No! Don't tap on the creepy videos. Oh god. Anyways, she's still sealed in her wooden case.
Well, that's good. You know, anything you have to sprinkle with holy water anytime you touch it should not be moved anyway.
Yeah, like, why did they say, hey, let's take her on a world tour?
I don't know. Why are we doing anything in America right now? Why are we opening tombs? Why are we...
We've opened tombs? Whose tomb did we
opened
open?
tombs. I always gotta be opening tombs.
You're just looking for a disease.
Why are you, going in caves? Stop going in abandoned buildings. They're just cool. Don't go in there.
Silas has discovered like abandoned hospital
Videos.
and he's obsessed.
I wonder if he's gonna discover the back rooms. You don't know about the back rooms?
No.
So the back rooms are, so the idea is that we are living in a,
Oh wait.
yeah, we're kind of like living in like a,
No, those videos freak me out. Is that like where people go to like the mall and like there's nobody in the mall?
there's nobody in the mall, yeah.
No, those start to those mess with my brain.
Have you ever been in one though? Have you ever like walked into a store and no one's in there?
No.
I have. It was very weird.
That is weird. I don't know.
It was weird.
Like I get on
I left.
TikTok videos, I get on those and then it like starts making me questioning like
No, I'll tell you what does freak me out.
am I real?
Now I'll tell you what does freak me out. And that is the Uncanny Valley videos. That freaks me out.
I don't know what that is.
Well, yeah, don't look them up. Don't let Silas look them up either.
Why?
'Cause it's like people, but they're not people, and you can tell by looking at them in the face. Like you could look it up. It probably won't scare you,
I don't
but
wanna.
imagine like I don't know how to describe it. Like their faces don't look n- human, but they're like
I'm gonna get
humanoid
some sort of freaking.
nightmares. I did think about starting like a little side podcast called Spooky Sister and just me just telling you spooky stuff. We'd probably get more views on that one.
Yeah.
Be like, this is the scary stuff I tell my sister to keep her awake at night. Like right on
So they
top of
look
my
like
head.
robots?
Let me see. Hold on.
Like they have like no like emotion?
Yeah, like they just look really weird. Like, have you ever seen a person like a crowd that doesn't look natural?
Yeah. Like they've been placed there.
Yeah, like a cyborg or something, or an alien.
That man's not real. He's a lizard.
That man is not real.
Dude, I don't know though. There's some days that I can get behind that. There's probably lizard people out there.
There's probably people that think I probably believe in lizard people a little bit more than I should.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to know these
I
things.
don't want to know. I just,
That's my problem.
when I get to heaven, I'm gonna go, okay, blink twice.
If there were lizard people.
Are there aliens?
Oh, there's aliens. 1000%. And they don't mess with us because we're a wreck. They just like float on by like there's the crazy neighbors.
They're gonna blow up soon.
Yeah.
We're counting down.
Yeah, they don't mess with us. They're just like
I like the way we went from Halloween to aliens.
we're doing great today. I mean, it's still spooky.
It's spooky.
Lizard people, Annabelle.
I mean, that would seriously
We
freak me out.
bridged the gap here, man.
Vampires, ghosts, goblins.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I believe in ghosts. I don't think vampires are real.
Ghosts, yes.
Ghosts, I definitely think they're spirits.
Demons, yes. Angels, yes. Aliens, yes. No, angels and aliens are not the same thing. Yes.
No.
Werewolves, no.
No.
I think those are just people that have that weird disease where they grow their hair. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where their hair, they've got that gene.
I don't know. Do you think Bigfoot's real?
Fuck yeah.
You really believe in Bigfoot?
I believe in Bigfoot, yes. And you know why? Because how in the world is there monkeys every other place but freaking America?
So you think Bigfoot is like the monkey species of America?
Yes.
So there's more than one Bigfoot.
Yes. He might be like the last one. But like, think about it. He's big, he's hairy.
He is kind of monkey-like.
He's got thumbs. My God, we're gonna get real noticed on this one. I mean, just
We're hitting all the wickets.
maybe we should just scrap bookmark my words and just go to like my spooky sister and we just
need to put on the witch's conspiracy hats.
listen. This is what's happening. Bigfoot's a big giant monkey that lives in America.
Okay.
And then abominable snowman is just a snow monkey.
What about Loch Ness? The
Oh,
Nessie.
I don't want to talk about things in the water now.
Girl, have you ever gotten on like deep ocean
No.
TikTok?
No, I'm terrified of it. I'm terrified. First of all, I don't like watching anything where I don't know what's going to pop up on the screen.
You don't get in the water, man. I don't get in the water.
I don't get in the water.
There's creatures in there.
Any water.
Like,
Bathtub, that's it.
yeah.
Swimming pool, yeah.
Yeah, I can see the bottom.
I don't get anything that I feel like something's going to grab. Especially when it's like, I have this initial fear. It doesn't even have to be fish. Of just anything grabbing my ankle. And I'm just going to be like, take me. It's just going to be like, because Stephanie can't swim. So,
Yeah.
I got to be able to see what's around me.
We're
and
not
even then,
swimmers.
well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope it made sense.
We know you missed us and our nonsense.
You missed us. I'm so sorry about last week's episode. Dummy us.
Yeah.
We plugged our microphones into the wrong slots.
Honestly, I really think I was the one that plugged in last week,
don't
and I
know.
have never plugged in before.
Yeah.
Sarah doesn't touch the controls again. She's
It's
not
okay.
touching them.
It happens. I was just really shocked at the whole sound of just I was like, what is that? So, anyway, we hope this episode is a lot better. We hope this is entertaining. We hope you people on YouTube
Love
like
us.
love us. Sarah said love, and I'm like us, dislike us.
You'll love us.
As always, please like, subscribe, share, comment, talk to us.
Tweet us.
We see the few people that do talk
What is
to
it?
us.
Tweet? Tweet. Yeah, tweet us.
We don't have a Twitter. A tweeter.
It's not even called Twitter anymore. It's
What's
X.
Oh,
What do you do? X me?
I think they still call it tweet.
Oh,
It's just X, because
I'm really old. I
anyway,
can't.
I'm old, like, no.
Love us. See, I'm going to show my age, but my heart too. I can't. Wrong.
Anyway. That's so hard.
I thought you were going to flip off for me.
Love us. Anyway, we hope you guys have a great Tuesday, an amazing week, and join us next time for other spooky books. Bye.
Bye.